Let's talk about something that you probably have never heard, although you might know. And this is something that nobody really teaches, and I just wish was explicitly taught in the music world. What am I referring to? I am referring to the reflexive property. All my geometry nerds are about to flip out because you're like, oh, I know that thing. That thing's the A equals A thing. Yes, you are correct. I'm Robert Monroe, and I am here with another banger education video to help you step up your game to become better at piano, better at music, better at life. Well, maybe I'm overpromising, but whatever. Let's talk about the reflexive property and how it refers to music and how you can use it to your advantage. So, first of all, let's define it. It's A equals A. What in the world does that mean? It means this thing is this thing. So in geometry, it refers to the fact that if you have A, then A is equal to A. It's not going to change. It's the same thing. And it's a fundamental logical principle that lets you then add on and build other ideas from it. Well, in the same way in music, if we don't understand that the thing is the thing, then we find ourselves in this uncertain ground where we just sort of make up stuff and we cause our stuff all sorts of problems. Let me go through a few different examples to help yourself out. Let's start with sight reading. Here's the thing. You're in a key. Let's say you're in the key of D major. That's two sharps. D major. We got an F sharp and a C sharp. Well, guess what we're going to expect then? F sharp and C sharp. Oh, we have an F in the piece. Guess what? It's F sharp. We have a C in the piece. It's C sharp. We have another C. It's another C sharp. Wonderful. We're cruising. But what about an accidental? It's weird. It looks weird. Well, if A equals A, then we know if it's weird, then it's going to be weird. If it looks weird, it will sound weird. Have you ever heard this before? I'm a little sad because I did not ever hear this type of thinking when I was learning piano, but it is so huge. Now let's go to a different place. Let's say that you're improvising and you want to make up something that sounds kind of cool. So you start out and you're on, let's say, A minor chord, A, C, E, right? And you play just the notes A, C, E. Well, guess what? You're playing notes in the chord, so it's going to sound like it belongs to the chord, so it will be perfect. It'll sound perfect. Will it be interesting? Probably not, but it will sound perfect. Now you get a little cheeky. You start adding in the notes from A Aeolian or A natural minor, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Now it's going to start pulling a little bit. The B doesn't work with the A and the C, and the F really doesn't work, and it pulls and tugs. Well, those are not notes in the chord, so they are not going to sound as belonging to the chord as the notes in the chord. Again, this is so obvious, but it's not stated, and like many things, you need to state it for it to work and for it to be a logical foundation for your brain. Let's go another step further. Maybe we get a little even cheekier. Maybe we add in some accidentals. Maybe we occasionally play an E flat. Maybe we use the notes from melodic minor instead of natural minor, F sharp and G sharp. All of this is going to pull us even further from that original chord. And as long as there's some logic to what we're doing, what we'll hear is something that sounds a little more jarring, a little problematic, but as long as we resolve it okay, it works. Why? Because we had a plan, so the plan unfolds, so it makes sense. What if instead we decide to maybe get a little freaky with it and not quite have a plan and just pick some random notes? We throw in a B flat, we throw in a C sharp over an A minor chord. That's crazy talk. Well, guess what? It's crazy and it sounds crazy. Imagine that. Crazy sounds crazy. What could you do with this knowledge? You can use it to incorporate it in your playing and develop emotion. Let's say you want people to feel comforted. Well, play notes in the chord. Oh, you want to push a little bit but still feel that sense of comfort in the scale. Oh, you want to challenge their narrative a little bit but also still make it feel comfortable. Play notes in that stylistic context that maybe pull out of the key. You want to confront people, make them feel a little uncomfortable. Play notes outside of the key. Insert the level of discomfort you want to give them. Boom, you've got it. Okay, what if you're writing music? You can use this when you're writing music. You're writing a song in B flat major. You're using chords from B flat major. Well, if you use chords from B flat major, guess what? It's going to sound like B flat major and it's going to work and sound great. Now you start using notes outside of B flat major. It's going to not work and not sound great. Is that a bad thing? Only if it does not work with your purpose. That is really ultimately the point that I'm trying to make. The reflexive property basically says this thing is this thing. So if you want that thing, do that thing. If you want ice cream, buy ice cream. If you want a hot dog, buy a hot dog. If you want something gross, put a hot dog in ice cream. That is what we're talking about. So how does this apply to, let's say, the most professional context, the most applicable to you? You don't write music. Maybe you're not sight reading some crazy classical. Maybe you're just playing for your church or you're playing in your local bar band. Well, you have to understand the context you're in. So if you're playing blues, the pentatonic scale is the scale to play blues on. So as long as you're playing the pentatonic scale in that blues context, guess what? It's going to sound straight money. It's going to sound straight cash. But that's not all you can do. You can do stuff outside of that scale, but you have to understand. Now you're operating outside of the normal framework. So is it going to sound perfectly okay to everybody's ears? No, because they're not used to it. So then you have to pick and choose your battles and adjust as necessary by little tiny amounts. If you do a big amount, guess what? It's going to be a big change. A equals A. You do a little bout, it's going to be a little change. A equals A. Are we all clear on this concept? It's so fundamental to how logic works. And guess what? Music is highly, highly based on logic. Yes, it's an art. Yes, it's all about our feelings. But guess what? Those feelings come from a logical foundation. And that is where you can really thrive and really crush on music. Whether you're cold-hearted and have no feelings and you just want to manipulate people, or whether you're the most feeling person, you barely have a logical thought. This principle helps you. Comment below if you've ever heard this before. I'd love to know what your thoughts are about it. Like, subscribe, it super helps. And until next time, have a great day.